Hi folks, how you doing? In this video I want to talk a little bit about water, few little sort of tips and stuff like that in collecting water, you know, and removing sediment and that sort of thing, and purifying water. Okay, so stay tuned for another cracking and exciting video. Water then. Now, as you know, sort of people that venture out into the outdoors, you know, we need to obviously keep ourselves hydrated during the summer. Obviously it keeps us cool, and during the winter it helps to keep us warm, helps heat our bodies, a bit like putting fuel into an engine of a car, I suppose. Now there's 1,000,001 sort of you know, you know, filters and, you know, water purification systems and that sort of stuff. A number of ways that I like to think of it is I sort of like to break it down into sort of subcategories of sort of sedimentation, filtration, boiling, UV treatment, mechanical treatment in the form of sort of filters, you know, sort of actual pre-mac filters and such like. The other ones escape me right now, but it doesn't matter, we'll just carry on with it. So yeah, so I mean, like with filters, for example, like with sedimentation and stuff like that, I mean, sedimentation really is just that you collect some water, it'll have leaf particles in it and such like, and all you're doing with that is collecting the water into a receptacle and allowing the solid objects to obviously settle down to the bottom of a container of choice that you've used to collect the water. Now, a way around that, leading on, is to use a sort of like, now for example, I've got this bottle here. Now obviously this is full of clean water, but an option to get around that is to basically just use a, you know, like a head over, or a, you know, a buff or something like that, by placing it over the top there, holding it at the neck and then placing that in the water, and then you've already sort of stopped, you've already sort of kicked off two of the ones there of using you know, sedimentation and filtering the water. Okay, then with that, once that's done, all you need to do then is to bring your water to a rolling boil, which is obviously very important. You know, people talk about temperatures and stuff like that. You know, you might have a thermometer on your rucksack, you might carry one on your jacket and all the rest of it, but as long as you can actually physically see your water come to a rolling boil, that is a temperature where it's going to kill whatever part, you know, the, you know, waterborne you know, protozoas and stuff like that that are actually in the water. Okay. UV is another one. Some people talk about using UV, unless you're going to buy a particular product that is for UV, ultraviolet sterilisation of water. Bottles like this, washing up liquid bottles and all that sort of stuff, won't actually, you won't actually be able to use the UV from the ultraviolet rays from the sun to actually help clear that, what kills some of the germs that are in that water. And the reason being, I do apologise, there's a plane flying over. The reason being is that plastic companies, when they obviously produce a particular bottle and such like, washing up liquid bottles for example, they actually add a UV additive, which basically what it does, it obviously protects the plastic from degrading. Now, you know, the last thing you want is for somebody to put their washing up liquid on a windowsill, for the rays of the sun to magnify through the glass and then brown the bottle. I don't think the person that works in the kitchen would be too happy. So that's one reason why that wouldn't, you know, you've got to be a little bit sort of wary there on what you actually use. You can use sort of solar stills and stuff like that as well, by digging a hole in the ground, and distillation, you know, by sort of placing a bag over a, you know, over a branch and all the rest of it. But you need the sunshine, you need a lot of heat there, which on a day like today it might work because it's quite sunny. But they're kind of, to me, they're sort of the protocols that are a real emergency. If I don't have to use them, those ones, digging holes and such like, if I can get away, if I've found a water source and I can get away with just using you know, a neck scarf or a handkerchief or something like that placed over the end of a bottle to be able to filter that water, and then I've got a means of either making a fire or I've got a stove to be able to bring the water to a rolling boil, then that's fine. And then mechanically, well, back again, just wait for that plane to bugger off. So yeah, so mechanical sort of filters, I've got 3. Now, you've seen me using the Grail, you may have seen me using my soil filter, and I've also got one of the MSR type filters. Now, I like the soil filter, great bit of kit. I've got the Grail. You've seen the Grail, me using that. That's a great, that's a lovely bit of kit too. The MSR one I've not used yet, but I kind of keep that as this is like one of my kind of water kits. And again, it doesn't really take up a great deal of weight. It's not heavy. I would say that having some sort of having some kind of kit to be able to collect and purify water, and filter and purify water is kind of a necessity. I would say that's quite important, because, you know, you can go without food, can't you? I mean, they say 3 weeks without food. I can't go 3 minutes without food, you know. But you know, it's not a comfortable feeling, is it, to be hungry? But you know, water is very important. You know, very, very important. Not just for ingesting, but also to have a wash, to keep your morale up and such like. Okay, but in this little sort of water kit what I've got here, okay, it's in just a, you know, like one of these little waterproof bags. I've got a number of items in now. First thing I've got is a millbank bag. Okay, this is quite a new one. This one, I won't get it out. I'll show you one of the other ones that I've got. This is one of my this is an old army one that I've got. Used this many times. It's been put in the washing machine a number of times as well. You can see how much it's been used because of how faded it is. All right, and basically it's just a means of it's just kind of a means of sedimentation. So if you didn't have you know, like a neck scarf or anything like that to put over your bottle, what you can do is collect the water or place that in the water, scoop the water up. Not a bad thing to actually wet it first, all right, then fill it up to the water line, hang it up from a branch or whatever, place your receptacle underneath, and what happens is that water just drips through there, and all the sediment and such like will collect in the bottom here. Okay, and then you know, you've got, that's one means of sort of like of kind of filtering the water, or sedimentation sort of protocol, as it were. All right, I keep a resealable plastic bag in there. Now, not necessarily because it's resealable, but I keep a bag in there as well because it's quite handy to collect water in. All right, even if you can't even if you haven't got a water bottle, at least you've got a bag to put some water in. Even if you wanted to just add some chlorine dioxide tablets to it, you know, purification tablets and such like. I mean, to be quite honest, I kind of find these a bit of a last resort because I don't like the taste of bleach water. Desperation, it might be a different matter, but if I'm sort of like in a situation where I'm out and I've just got to, you know, collect some water, boil it up and so on and so forth, you know, these are sort of, for me personally, they're a bit more of an emergency, a bit like having bleach. Some people say about bleach. Again, I'm going to be using bleach, as I say, if needs a must. All right. And then finally in here, I've got this is the MSR one. The model of it I can't remember right now. I'll obviously put the description in the links below, or link in the description below. And this literally is just a matter of it's just one that you squeeze, place that in the water, squeeze, and then the water collects in there through the filter, and then you've got the option to either drink it or obviously squeeze it into a bottle. Now, as I say, I haven't used it yet. Okay, I will use it, believe me, because I'm not one for sort of like having kit and not using it. But so I can't really sort of like praise its merits, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. But being MSR, I'd like to think that it's quite, you know, quite good. All right, so what I could do as well to sort of like prolong the filter a bit more as well, especially on ones like this, is to actually attach a piece of cloth. So like I was saying with, say, the bottle, what you might want to do is get a little piece of cloth, place it over the top there, okay, and a little elastic band around it, and then that just gives you another little bit of filter, and it just stops the sediment getting into the actual mesh itself and clogging it up, and you'll prolong the life of your filter a bit more, unless you've got the option to clean them out and replace them and such like. You can use like a piece of denier material, like from say a pair of tights or such like, and literally just cut a square out, place it over the top, a little bit of an elastic band or even a cable tie if you so wish, but cable tie is a bit sort of aggressive, and then as I say, that will help sort of, because it's removing the sort of bigger, because obviously if you didn't have that on there, all those particles are going to get into your filter, and over time they're going to clog up, so it's a way of kind of prolonging your filters, as I say now. And I'll just roll the lid down, and then that just packs away. And so this one actually lives in my day sack at the moment. Alright, normally I've got the Grail in my main camping rucksack. Some other little things that you might want to bring with you is using a little bit of sniggering now, a little bit of like is the old condoms. Yeah, great, use them for for filling, for collecting water. Normally they're cradled into a sock or a piece of material, because the last thing if you fill one of these up with water, they become very fragile, so the last thing you want to do is obviously collect the water and then snag it on a branch or something when you're going back to your campsite or your place wherever you're going to boil the water up. Alright, so it makes more sense to obviously cradle it in some sort of material, okay, because they obviously do expand. They're latex, very thin, and I'm not going to teach you as idiots to sort of like what they're used for. Another thing is to sort of carry on you is the old lillettes. Alright, the tiny little sort of what females use, or certain people use for sort of when they're on their periods and such like. And again, they're handy to have. You've got the cord there. You could even attach a piece of it onto a piece of paracord if, for example, you're in an environment where you could be in sort of like a mountainous environment and there's a stream running through a crag or something like that, and you can't quite get to it. So there's an option, bit of paracord or bootlace or something like that, attach it onto there, slowly drop it through the crevice. Obviously cotton wool, it will swell up. You can then draw that out, squeeze that into your receptacle, alright, and then you can only use it a number of times, and then when it dries out, you've potentially got something for firelighting materials. Okay, so I think that's about it. I don't want to sort of like I don't want to I've got materials here to actually make to make a solar steel and such like, and make up a tripod and all that, but I think that's sort of, to me, that's kind of the lower end of the stick of that comes more into real survival stuff, I think, personally. It's a bit like the bow drill and friction fire lighting. I mean, if you've come to me personally, if you get to the stage where you've got to use those sort of techniques, all right, then that's where you are at the at the serious end of the scale. All right, so to have sort of a water purifying kit on you, or in your rucksack or on your person, so however you wish to choose to carry it, and so on and so forth, all these little bits and pieces, even though it's an encumbrance of kit, it certainly makes your life easier. But it's also, as well, don't forget that in the back of your mind, at least you've got the other little weapons in your arsenal when it becomes totally live, that you are dependent on sort of having to make solar steels or dig gypsy wells and such like. Alright, so I hope that was interesting. It was just a little bit of unrehearsed fractured knowledge from yours truly. Okay, so appreciate your comments. Alright, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. Okay, and don't forget to check out the podcasts, check out my merchandise. There's still some badges left if people are interested, and show your support. Also, I've got my book out that I did some time ago on Amazon. I'm in the process of writing another book, and we'll see how it goes. Alright folks, so thanks for watching, please take care, and Des Catty signing out, and I'll see you on the flip side.